Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to our Young Living Oils and Hormones class. We're so glad that you're here tonight. Whether you are here live or watching the recording, I'm so glad that you're here. We have a lot to cover, and so I want to encourage you guys to have a pen and paper near you and have a glass of water or a nice hot tea, and get some oils by you that will just help you to focus and relax. So just enjoy this time, and we will get started. So my name's Nikki Shoemaker, and I live with my family in Kansas City. I'm going to do a quick mute of everybody. There we go. Okay, I live with my family in Kansas City, and there we are. Okay. I'm a mother of tweens now, officially. So I'm a mother of a tween and a teen. So my background is in child development, and I was a childbirth educator for 7 years, until 6 years ago when I was able to work from home, sharing these awesome oils and helping beautiful people on their journey to health through young living. I love what I get to do. So before learning about essential oils, where we were at, let me just kind of paint a little quick picture for those of you that don't know me or haven't heard my story yet. So before learning about essential oils, my family struggled with lots of all the seasonal ups and downs that everybody's familiar with. I was ready for a simple, natural source to support my immune system. And I had heard some of the basics about Young Living oils and how they could help my daughter with her asthma and allergies. And my thought was, why not give it a try, right? And I started from ground zero. So if you are starting brand new and don't know anything about the oils or don't know how to support yourself holistically, you can do it. You can totally do it because I did it. So through giving my family the oils and Young Living supplements every day, Phil and I have really seen dramatic results. And I'm really excited to share with you on a topic that's really near and dear to my heart, helping us mamas to be more healthy, right? And more sane and all of that with our hormone support. So when we talk about health and being healthy, it's all about holistic health. We have to envision that our bodies were made to run well and were created to function smoothly. I love the quote, "It's easier to be well than to get well." So I like to not just point to the oils. I like to talk about body systems and nutrition and lifestyle choices and knowing what options we as parents and adults have when it comes to healthcare, right? Because it's not just one thing, it's multiple things. And so that's where I love to educate, because it's really important to know about the whole picture. So I am an educator and a mom. I'm not a salesperson. I'm also a lifetime student. I love learning and studying how the body works. Leaders are learners, and I want to lead my family and my team really well. I go to classes like this one as often as possible, and I learn something every single time. I always refer to my reference books whenever I have a question or when somebody asks me a question, because truly I don't want to be a person that people have to come to every time with questions. My goal is to equip people to take charge of their own health and point them to resources that can help them, right? Because I can't be there at 2 a.m. when your child is not feeling well, right? Or I can't be there on vacation when something's going on. So you need to be able to take charge of your health. So kudos to you for being here tonight and investing your time, because I know your time is super precious. But you're investing your time in educating yourself so that you're going to know a little bit more about what to do moving forward. Okay, so speaking of resources, so the books that I've used to create this class, I always like to know how people got their information. So I use a lot of different things. So this has been a process of 7 years of learning, and I'm still learning. But some of the books that I created, or that I used to create this class: The Essential Oils Desk Reference, Taming the Dragon Within, which I'm going to talk a lot about tonight, right here. Okay, and I've got it marked out where I'm going to be talking. Taming the Dragon Within, videos from Dr. Jim Bob Hagerton. I encourage you to write his name down and to subscribe to his YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about a lot of things that he talks a lot more in detail about in his YouTube channel. Dr. Jim Bob is a chiropractor and a Young Living Crown Diamond. He has multiple videos on adrenals, hormones, thyroid health in his YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube, click on or type in Dr. Jim Bob Hagerton, you'll find his channel and just hit the word subscribe, and then you'll be able to see all of his different videos and just find him easier. So make sure you check it out. I also have notes from various speakers that I've gone to see at convention and other conferences. Speakers like Deborah Rayburn, Gary Young, Dr. Purser, Dr. Lynn, Dr. H.K. Lynn, Dr. Tom Reed, and Dr. Lindsay Elmore, as well as other naturopaths that I've gone in for office visits with, different scientists that I've sat in and heard them speak on research that has been done with essential oils, and lots of different researchers in the field, including Dr. Mike Book, who is with Young Living. So we have so many fantastic resources right at our fingertips to educate ourselves. In fact, at this point, it's almost overwhelming how many great resources that we have. And you guys, it's come so far, because even when I first signed up with a starter kit 7 years ago, there was not anything of what we have now. And so I really encourage you to find the ones that you really enjoy learning from and really dig in deep with those. Okay, so tonight we are going to discuss adrenal support and keeping our hormones healthy. So before I go on, I really want to encourage you to set your intentions for this class. Okay, what does that mean? So set your intentions. I want you to think, what did you come here to get help with? Okay, maybe you're just wanting overall knowledge about hormones.
The Jets versus the Patriots. There's 9 minutes quarter to go, and it's already 24.
Okay, I'm just muting everybody. I'm clicking mute all, but it's not always working. If you're just hopping on, welcome. Can you make sure that you mute your phone? Thanks so much. So what I mean by setting your intention, okay, our lives are really busy, and when you hop from being a really, really busy, mama, spouse, friend into a class, I really want you to focus on what you're here for, because you're going to get so much more out of it. So if you have a notepad and a pen by you, write down what your intention is for. Maybe you're really wanting to learn more about sleep. Maybe you're really wanting to learn more about stress help. Maybe you're really wanting to learn more about helping your teenage daughter with her hormones. Write that down, and you will actually be able to listen clearer if your intention is clear. So write that down. The second thing I want you to do is grab an oil. I want you to breathe it in and give thanks that we have this time together. So I'm going to put on Valor, because when I teach, I like to wear Valor. Okay. And we're just going to put that on really quick. Take a deep breath in. Okay. And now we're ready. All right. So I'm going to start by sharing my testimony that brought me to learning about the importance of hormone balance. Okay, this picture kind of cracks me up, but it gives you an idea of what adrenal fatigue is like. So in the spring of 2013, we were living in Oklahoma City, and we were using and loving the oils, and that had helped our daughter get off all of her prescription medications for asthma and allergies. We had gotten my husband off of his allergy medications too. So basically, it was my turn to learn a lesson about the oils for myself. And it all started when I began to notice that I was not feeling like myself. Okay. So I had very little patience. I would snap at my daughters and my husband a lot more frequently. Some snapping happens, right? That's normal, but it was a lot more frequently. And I just had an overall sense of unease. I had experienced a couple of nights where I would wake up completely drenched in sweat, and I actually had to get up and change my clothes and even my pillowcase. This was back in 2013, just to kind of paint that picture. I was not sleeping through the night, which didn't help my energy during the day. I would try to wake up and go to work, and it was just like really hard to be able to focus. I no longer had energy to exercise, and my libido was very low. Something was just not right. But I was too busy to stop and think about what it was. I was very busy with my 3 part-time jobs, with motherhood, and just life to take the time to help myself. So it continued to get worse until my skin became inflamed. It started about 6 months after my first it started about 6 months after my first symptoms as a rash on my arm that I thought was actually a ringworm. So I was over at my cousin's house and I showed it to her and I was like, what is this? And she was like, oh my gosh, that's ringworm. And I, of course, went to my doctor, showed it to him, and he said, this is not ringworm, this is just dermatitis. But it was one of those things where I had never seen it before, right? And it was just different. Those are those signs that your body's saying something's not right, right? So about the same time, my hair started to fall out. And you guys, I've had 2 kids, and I understand the normal postpartum hair falling out after babies, but this was intense. Like I would put my fingers through my hair and a whole lot would come out. So, okay, I went to our family's DO, Dr. of Osteopathy, to have some blood work done. And after being told that I was just fine, I went back in about a week or so later, and I said, I want more testing. My thyroid had come out normal when they did the thyroid testing, but I have come to learn that it is very common, as testing for the thyroid is really tricky and not the best indicator. So what used to be kind of like a more narrow, healthy range for the thyroid has now gotten really wide, healthy range, because so many people's thyroids are not healthy. Okay, so just be aware of that. That's why having a doctor that really knows how to help with thyroid is really important. So by my 4th visit, you guys, 4th visit of me saying something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong, and telling my DO something isn't right, my doctor decided to finally test my cortisol levels through a take-home saline test. And my levels came back very, very low, to the point that my provider called me at work and said, please come in as soon as possible, which don't we all love hearing that? So he explained that adrenal fatigue is an autoimmune disease where your adrenal glands, which mobilize your body's response to stress, which is like the fight or flight, they cannot meet your body's needs and they start to attack themselves. So during this time, I had hit the rank of silver with Young Living, and I was able to quit my other 2 jobs to just focus on Young Living, which is a complete blessing and what I needed to do. But we had also moved to Kansas City, and it had been a very busy season, hence the stress and hence the adrenal fatigue, right? But by that time, my focus was on healing myself. So we all get to the point where we just cannot keep up with where we've been running, and we finally tell our bodies, okay, I can't do this anymore. I have to let go a little bit, right? And I have to focus on healing myself. So that's what I did. And you guys, we landed in Kansas City, and that was my day 1 goal. I began researching everything that I could, getting my hands on about hormones and about adrenal fatigue. And you guys, you would not believe, and this was like 5 years ago, I found that many, many women have been suffering with this from the late 20s on up. And I began to talk to women who had suffered for this for many years, like 15 and 20 years, and they just kept going because they didn't know what else to do, right? Most people don't know about essential oils and don't know about holistic health and don't know about naturopaths. Because most people are just told, just take this prescription. So I found a really awesome naturopath in Kansas City who specializes in hormonal balance. And the thing was, she could not see me for a month and a half. She was so backed up. So during that time, I just said, I'm going to start with all the stuff that I've researched. And I just placed a few orders with Young Living, and I just started. And so a month and a half later, I got in with her, and I brought my big desk reference, which is a large book. I had it all tabbed out to the parts where I wanted to talk about. I brought a bag and my oils. I brought a bag with my supplements and my oils case. And I walked through with her for an hour and a half, my entire regimen. And I had everything like highlighted out. We spent an hour and a half and went through everything. And then in the end, she had looked up all the different supplements, the oils. We talked about what I've been doing. And she literally said, this is, what you're doing is pretty much exactly what I would have recommended. I never will forget that. I was like, oh my gosh. But she said, she told me, maybe try a little bit more of this one and maybe a little bit less of this one, or try this one at nighttime or this one during the day. So she was super helpful. And then she just said, just keep going. She also told me to really focus on sleep. So if you are dealing with adrenal fatigue, or somebody that's really suffering with adrenal fatigue and they're trying to push themselves with exercise, she really said you need to focus on healing and on sleeping well, because once you start sleeping well, then your body will heal and then you'll be able to have more energy. So that was a big takeaway for me. So I was already seeing results also just in that month and a half with my skin and with energy, and my hair wasn't falling out anymore, which was really good. So after 6 more months, so 6 more months of staying with what I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight with kind of my regimen, I went and had my levels, my cortisol levels rechecked, and you guys, they were all back to normal. It was amazing. It was amazing. And I started to cry because I was so happy, because it was like, oh my gosh, all this work, because there's times where you're like, is this really working? Is this really helping? But all my categories that had previously been off were normal. It was so exciting. So I already knew that I was doing so much better just because of the way that I felt, but it was really nice to have that confirmation. So after just a little over 1 full year from starting on the hormonal balancing oils and supplements, I was back to exercising. My hair was growing back now, not falling out. It was actually growing back. My skin was clear. I no longer had rashes. You guys, when I first moved to Kansas City, my skin was so bad rash that the lady that was doing my hair thought that I had burnt my neck. It was that bad of a rash. So your body is just yelling at you, right? Whenever you're seeing these type of symptoms. So today I'm able to sleep through the night, exercise and run, and enjoy just living a healthier life, right? I still follow along with my supplements and my oils because my body will always need more help with the thyroid and with adrenals. I just know that. So how I'm talking to you tonight, maybe you don't need that much, but you have to find what's right for you, and you have to find the regimen that's right for you. But my focus is truly taking care of myself and nourishing my body, not just taking care of my family, which is what so many women do. They take care of everybody else but themselves. There is a suggested hormone panel document in our Facebook group. And if you're here as a guest, I would love to send that to you. So feel free to send me a message. It's a suggested hormone panel that my naturopath had sent. If you go to a provider, they would give you the same thing, but it kind of gives you an idea if you go and get your hormones tested. The other thing that I will say is I had a Zyto test done 3 months before my outward signs appeared, and they all scanned for hormone and thyroid. And at that time, this was 3 months before my first, rash. At that time, I was like, why am I scanning for thyroid and adrenal stuff? And at that time, I hardly knew what that was. Like, why, what Young Living, like why Young Living even had that. But I was scanning for Thyromin and Endogyze and Endoflex and Progestins Plus and Dragon Time. And I didn't understand why. So sometimes if you have a scanner, or you go and get a scan and you get a reading where you're like, I don't really understand that, you just kind of have to lean in and trust that scan is kind of scanning you in like deep, like not in areas that have come to the surface yet. So that was really cool. Okay, so when I share the info tonight on how Young Living oils and supplements can support your hormonal system, please know that I am only talking about Young Living oils, okay? Which probably is not a shocker to you, but if you are new, or if maybe this recorded class was sent to you, or somebody sent you this link to be on tonight, I'm so glad that you're here. What you need to know is the other oils that are on the market they don't even compare to Young Living. So we're talking about the difference between like fragrances, like Bath and Body Works, versus Young Living's like therapeutic grade that can actually heal, work on healing different parts of your body. So please know that we are only talking about Young Living tonight. Secondly, the oils can only bring balance to your body. So to add to that, when you apply the oils, So when we're talking about using the oils throughout the class tonight, when you apply the oils, there is a true mind and body connection. So when you are telling yourself that, like, let's say you are applying Endoflex to your body and you're like, okay, so like, let's say you've got Endoflex and you're like, I don't really know if this will help, whatever. Nikki was saying it might help, but I don't really think it's going to help. Like, that's what's going on in your mind. I don't really think this is going to help me. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I'm just always going to be sick. Like, if you start telling yourself that, I'm just always going to be sick, there's nothing I can do to help me. You guys, you are speaking death over yourself. And it's so important to realize there is a mind and body connection. So similar when I apply oils to my kids or to my husband if he's not feeling well, when I'm upstairs applying oils to my girls before bed and we're talking about our day, I'm like praying over them. Like I'm thinking like, you know, like, thank you for like taking care of my child's body, right? And I'm like, I know this is going to be helping you. Even if they're like, I'm like, it's helping you. This is helping you, right? I'm speaking those words of life over them. So even if you are in the pits of this is never going to like you're thinking, I don't know if I'm ever going to get better. You guys, I have been there, like thinking, I don't know if I'm ever going to get better. You have to create a mantra for yourself of my body is created perfectly. I will be healthy and well. Something like that you're saying over yourself every day when you're in the pits of not feeling well. Because I know with hormones, it can feel really, really scary sometimes. And if you've never experienced that, that is awesome. But if you are in that spot, just know that the mindset is a really big deal. Yes, so like even the Bible states, everything that you ask in prayer and believe and truly believe, you will receive. Now, does that mean that everybody's going to be healed? Unfortunately not. But really, like your mindset and the things that you truly believe, it really helps your body. So everyone's journey is different, but I believe that your body will respond quicker if you do this and you believe in the process, okay? Okay, so basically, I just want to do a disclaimer that this class, I am not trying to diagnose or treat. I can't tell you you have this or that. That's not my job. My job is to help point you to resources, and this class is a resource, and then I'll point you to other resources where you can dig in and find more about your health, because that's what I did. Nobody pointed to me and said, this is what you need to do. I had to research it myself. And the other thing I want to tell you is health doesn't happen on accident. If you have something to write that down. Health does not happen on accident. All of this is purposeful, right? You are purposely taking care of yourself, just like what you're doing tonight. Okay, so adrenals, how do they work? And let's talk about lifestyle changes. So hormone imbalance is extremely common and often poorly diagnosed and poorly treated by Western medicine. According to Dr. Mercola, an estimated 80% of Americans have adrenal fatigue. 80%. And if you happen to print off your notes, that's one of the things that you can write down. So there's a little note sheet that you can write that down. But 80%, you guys, there are so many people that are just going through life and don't even realize that they're, really not in a very healthy spot. Signs of adrenal fatigue imbalance include problems with sleep, fatigue, feeling overwhelmed often, low libido, PMS, weight gain around the belly, blood pressure issues, and a good amount more. These are all warning signs from your body just saying something's not right, right? Something's not right. So the purpose of the adrenals, and you guys can see that the adrenals are, they sit right over your kidneys, your lower to mid back. So if you reach your hands back, it's right about where your hands reach in your lower back. So these, sometimes they get sore, and that a lot of times happens when you are very stressed, or you haven't been taking care of yourself, or you haven't been eating well, or you haven't been sleeping well. They'll kind of ache, literally. And that's when I grab things like Endoflex and just rub it on my adrenals. We'll talk more about that. So the purpose of the adrenals is to help you during stressful situations. They fire They fire out whenever there is something like a fight or flight type of situation. Most people think that the adrenal glands are their own little things, and they sit off by themselves. They beat themselves up throughout life, and we really don't know how they work. They're not important. That's how so many people in the United States think, and a lot of practitioners, unfortunately. So here's what you need to know. The adrenal glands only do what they're told. They only do what they're told. The signal actually comes from your brain, from the pituitary gland that is straight through your temples. So if you put your hands on your temple, your pituitary gland is right in the middle of that. So your pituitary gland sends a signal to the adrenals to tell them to produce a certain hormone. The pituitary gland tells them to fire the hormone called cortisol, which is what I was talking about earlier, and we'll talk more about it. So remember that the adrenal glands only do what they're told. They are obeying the pituitary gland, okay? So the number one thing that you can do to take pressure off yourself and your adrenals is, ready? Get rid of, or decrease stress, okay? And I know a lot of people are like, great, Nikki, yes, sure, that's easy to do, no problem. I can decrease stress, no problem. So I'm very aware, because I had my provider tell me that when we were really busy, right? Really, really busy. And I just kind of laughed at him. But he did give me some good suggestions. And a couple of them were meditation. So slowing yourself down throughout the day, even if it's for 5 minutes, and just allowing yourself to be quiet. Prayer is huge, not only spiritually, but literally for your body to reset. Also yoga, okay? Yoga has been so good for me as well, because it's forced me to slow down, which is good. And then on the opposite end spectrum is exercise. So exercise is really good for me as well. It really helps with my stress. But whenever someone encourages you to decrease stress, there are really two options in order to do this. So number one, you can either get yourself out of the situation that's causing you the stress. Sometimes this is possible, sometimes this isn't, right? But that's your first option. The next one is mentally be okay with certain situations in your life and not allowing yourself to stress out worse, right? Maybe your child is going through temper tantrum stages. Maybe your teenage child is talking back a whole lot. And instead of, allowing that to enrage you or to, do this back and forth, you choose to say, we're done, and you stop talking. And then you separate yourself, because what you have to learn is by engaging in that, you're causing more stress on yourself as well. So those are kind of the two options that my chiropractor and my naturopath kind of worked with. So those are kind of the two options: either get yourself out of the situation or mentally tell yourself, I do not need to allow myself to get so stressed, to get so stressed out. Okay, so part of your journey is getting your mind right. So working on your brain and your emotions, but you have to work on your endocrine system as a whole. See all of the functions of the endocrine system? They all work together. You have to work on them as a whole. And then you also have to look at the root issue. So even in our group over the last couple of days, in our team Facebook group, I've noticed a lot of people wanting these specific answers to specific things. And they're saying, well, this isn't working. Well, this isn't working. And I'm like, okay, well, then a lot of times you got to go deeper. You got to find out what truly is the root issue. Sometimes it's your gut. Sometimes your gut's off. You just got to figure out what is off. And that takes some time, but you can do it. So the endocrine system is made up of these 4 things. So we've got the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus, the thyroid, and the adrenal glands, okay? So those are the 4 things that your endocrine system is made up of. So the top 3 jobs of your adrenal glands is stress support, hormone support, and menopause support, okay? So they get a signal from the pituitary gland. So let me talk to you for 1 second about the pituitary gland that I think is way cool. So you can have damaged your pituitary gland with a fall, with maybe you played maybe you or your son or whoever played football, and maybe they might have gotten a concussion, or, you know, I played softball growing up. There's lots of different things that you can do. Maybe you're in a car accident, and that can actually damage your pituitary gland so that it's not functioning well. One of the best things that you can do is apply cedarwood and frankincense all over your face, but especially right in the center of your forehead. Because remember where I said the pituitary gland was? Right in between your temples. So just applying it right here. So if you know that you have pituitary gland damage, and that's one of the reasons why your hormones are off, every day, I would start with twice a day, take a drop of each, rub your hands together, and then just rub it right here. Rub it right there. That's really wonderful for helping your pituitary gland to heal. So the adrenal glands have layers. They have layers of the gland that help produce different hormones, kind of like an onion. God is so awesome with how he created our bodies. These glands sit, like I said, right above your kidneys. Just check something really quick. Okay, we're not there yet. So your adrenal glands sit right above your kidneys. The hormones they produce are the ones that help you with the fight or flight feelings. So when something scares you, all of a sudden something scares you, the hormones get fired because it's that fight or flight. The adrenal glands want to help you either stick around and fight, or they want to help you run to get the heck out of there to save your life, right? So fight or flight response is only designed to happen in short spurts, right? And then you're supposed to relax. Or if you're walking onto a parking lot and you move quick to get out of the way of a car, right? And your heart starts to pump really fast and you like jump back really, really fast, right? So when your hormones are fired, you surge all these hormones and your heart rate increases and you start breathing faster, and it pumps blood into your extremities so that you can run and fight. And it pulls blood away from your brain. And that's why it's harder to think when you're stressed out. Isn't that amazing? So people that deal with adrenal fatigue, I can remember this. It was like I had brain fog. Like it was very hard for me to concentrate on projects that I needed to do because my adrenals were constantly firing. So it's meant to happen in a matter of seconds, and then for your body to level out, and then we can all take a deep breath. So that is what's supposed to happen. Yet every single day, the majority of Americans at least get up and we're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, or go, 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 right? It's like we're flooded with all of this. And we're firing all these hormones all day long, over and over and over. It's like putting out one fire and then putting out the next fire and then putting out the next fire. And those glands are not designed to handle that kind of insult. They're not. And so your adrenal glands were designed for little spurts occasionally throughout the day. So the adrenal glands fire a number of hormones called epinephrine and norepinephrine, but it also releases estrogen and progesterone and cortisol and testosterone and DHEA. So what's interesting is that the adrenal glands' main job are not to produce these big time hormones. So why would they produce these? Well, the answer is support. So to support a woman during her menstrual cycle, if she's a little estrogen dominant, then the adrenal glands can shoot a little progesterone to help it balance out. Or if a guy needs more testosterone, well, the adrenal glands, they have it. And so, or when you're working out and you need more testosterone, then the adrenals will come to help, right? So this is why the adrenals are so important. But when they get exhausted, they have nothing to give. So let's talk a minute about cortisol. So I had never heard of cortisol before. And so that's a good one to write down. Write down cortisol. So cortisol is vital for releasing sugar into the body. So when you go into fight or flight, you have fuel. I know when I had adrenal fatigue, I craved sugar. It was like I wanted it all the time. And it was because my body was trying to get that false energy, basically. So I knew that I was dealing with adrenal fatigue, and I would get stressed and I would just crash or lie down. Like something would happen and I would literally just kind of go, like I could not even handle any type of stress. So when your cortisol is high, it makes your blood sugar really high, and you start creating stress in your liver and your gallbladder, and it's hard to go to sleep at night. because you can't wind down. Your body is just constantly on this like go mode. It's like it's stuck up there. Or you wake up in the middle of the night and then you can't go back to sleep. That was like my every night. I would sleep for like a couple hours and I wake up around 1 and I just could not go back to sleep. So cortisol levels, when they become imbalanced, they can show as really high, which can be diagnosed as Cushing's disease, or they can be really low, diagnosed as Addison's disease. So ask your doctor for a saliva test to check your cortisol levels. And if you're feeling a combination of any of the following, you know, fatigue, weakness, weight gain, difficulty losing weight, coarse dry hair, rough, pale skin, a lot of hair loss, cold intolerance, like always cold, muscle cramps, constipation, depression, irritability, memory loss, abnormal menstrual cycles. You guys, growing up, I would skip periods. I mean, it was like all over the place. Decreased libido, hormonal imbalances. So you know how the adrenal glands produce estrogen. Well, did you know that estrogen is extremely important when women are transitioning into menopause? So she needs a bit of estrogen to make the transition really smooth and really easy. And if a woman doesn't have a little bit of estrogen in her system, it makes the transition ridiculous, right? So it's like, it's like we are told, oh, you're going to dread menopause. Oh my gosh. Right. Do you think God created our bodies so that we would go through that part of life where we're supposed to be totally, you know, like whacked out? No, we're not at all. We are supposed to move into that stage being really happy that we are in a different stage of life and we don't have to worry about making babies anymore. So I'm going to read a couple of pages from the Taming the Dragon Within, because there's a lot of questions about the difference in estrogens. People are like, oh my gosh, we don't want any more estrogen. You know, there's bad estrogen, right? We don't want to be estrogen dominant. So there's a difference between phytoestrogen and xenoestrogen, okay? One is better than others. So if you have the book Taming the Dragon Within, you can open up to page 30. And I will just share a little bit. So estrogen is just as vital for a woman as progesterone. So, but nowadays the tendency is to talk about, you know, excess estrogen and that it's a troublemaker. Well, what you need to know is that that in elevated levels, estrogen exaggerates its normal effect. For example, making you too fat or making lumpy or fibrocystic breast, or even causing breast cancer. There is a great majority of breast cancers, they need estrogen to grow, right? So we want to avoid bad estrogen so that we avoid getting breast cancer. It also makes you crave sweets. It can cause migraines. This is like bad estrogen. It can make you cause migraines, insomnia. So the question is why people nowadays have excessive amounts of estrogen. Well, a lot of it comes from outside the endocrine system. So xenoestrogens are from our food and our environment. They're derived from petroleum in laboratories, and they are found in food additives and hormone feed in animals that we later eat because we eat the animals then, in insecticides and weed killers, plastics, shampoos, linings of food and drink cans, cosmetics, detergents, a host of chemicals. So these are things that we want to avoid, are the xenoestrogens, okay? But what you need to know is there's a difference between xenoestrogens and phytoestrogens. Phytoestrogens are made of plants, and phytoestrogens are mainly found in grains, soy food, and fruits and vegetables. It's a good thing. The good news is that they don't seem to cause the health problems that xenoestrogens do, and in fact, they can be quite beneficial. Some studies indicate that women who eat a lot of foods containing phytoestrogens have a reduced incidence of breast cancer, and also they can eliminate more estrogens in their urine. So in an event a person has difficulty digesting cabbage or broccoli or soy foods that contain high quantities of phytoestrogens, the problem is likely in their digestive system or their liver, and it's time for a liver cleanse. So if you find you have a lot of trouble with cabbage or broccoli, digesting those, or even soy, it's time to do a liver cleanse, right? And that's part of our Juva line. But I think it's really important to note the difference between zytoestrogens and phytoestrogens, and phytoestrogens are good. So I wanted to make sure that I talked about that because I get a lot of questions on that. Okay, so the night sweats and things that come up during menopause, one thing that's supposed to help with that is the adrenal glands giving you normal hormones. So that's what they're supposed to do. So remember, the body is created with everything it needs to be perfect and vital and to function well. We are the ones that mess it up, right? By things that we are exposed to and that we eat. We eat things that are not good for us and put ourselves into expectations that are unrealistic. Does that mean we have to be perfect? Absolutely not. But we can be mindful. We can be mindful, and that can make a big difference. So many times adrenal fatigue presents itself like chronic fatigue symptoms. Like you get up in the morning and you're just too tired to go to bed. And you know, sugar imbalance, menstrual cycles that won't stay stable, all these things tend to lead towards adrenal issues. So what I want you to write down, if you are dealing with adrenal stress, there's 3 different stages of adrenal fatigue. And the first one is acute. So acute stressors for the first time. That was my skin rash. So that's an acute, the acute stage. The next one is adrenal fatigue, which it needs to, you need to get it fixed, and you need to start supporting your organs at that point. The third one is adrenal exhaustion or complete burnout. And when you get to this situation, you need the adrenal glands to support you like an ongoing stress or menopause, but they're literally not there to help you. And you're like, I need help. And they're like, they're like totally dead, right? So that's what we need to catch it early. And the other thing I want to tell you is guys can get adrenal fatigue as well. So guys have adrenals. And so be mindful of that. If you're a male watching this, or if your spouse is starting to show signs of adrenal fatigue, they can be very real for them as well. Okay, so when this happens and you go into adrenal fatigue, it messes with your cycles. They go all over. It's hard to regulate your thyroid. There's hyperthyroid and Hashimoto's can come up because it's actually harder to keep everything stable. So that's kind of a walkthrough of adrenal fatigue, okay? So let's talk about 3 top lifestyle changes for hormonal health, okay? The first one is, as we talked about early, so we wanna keep the liver clean. So our liver processes all of our hormones. And if you find that you're, you know, just feeling really off, maybe you're really emotional, maybe you just are not feeling like yourself, and you're just, you know something's wrong. It never hurts to do a liver cleanse, okay? I try to do a liver cleanse twice a year. And what does that mean? It's super gentle. I just buy our Juva line of products and I take them, right? So I use Endoflex, Juvaflex, Juva Cleanse, Juvatone is another really good one. And the powder, which I'm forgetting the name of it. But I just go through and I use that, okay? And that just helps to flush the liver. The other really great thing that you can do for a liver cleanse is drink lemon in your water, right? Drink lemon every time that you refill your glass, your stainless steel bottle, add a couple drops of lemon to it, and that's just gonna help to do a gentle cleanse of the liver, or you could take it in a capsule. The other thing that's really important is ICP and comfort tone. So those are things that help your colon to flush out. What is that one, Mom? Oh yeah, Juva Spice. Yep, exactly. That's a great one. Thank you very much. Yep. So ICP, think of like IC poop, basically. It's not, but it's a colon cleanse, okay? And then also comfort tone. Those are things that help to flush out your colon. Because if you're not pooping once a day, you guys, you should be. I don't care if your provider told you that it doesn't matter, you can poop once a week. That's not true. And I'm not a provider, but I'm just telling you that you need to be going to the bathroom once a day at least, okay? So take care of yourself. Make sure that you're flushing out in all those areas. The next thing for lifestyle changes for hormone health, because when your hormones get backed up in your liver, it's not going to process well, right? So the next thing is increase your protein. So I taught childbirth classes for many years, and that's huge for when you're pregnant, but you guys, it's also huge for when you're not pregnant. Protein is so important for so many functions. So increase your protein, increase your dark greens and your minerals. So we talk about mineral essence. Mineral essence was huge for me when I had adrenal fatigue. Minerals are so important because they are not found in our food like they were, 50 and 100 years ago because of all the pesticides that are sprayed on our food. For the dark greens, we love multigreens. Everybody in my family takes them. I take 3 a day. Sometimes I'll take more if I need more. Okay, so yes, yep. You can take more than that. You can take 6 if you need to. You need to listen to your body, you guys. It's just flooding your system with really good dark greens, and that's one of the best ways to take care of yourself. The third way is avoid processed food. What does that mean? So prepackaged food, that's quick and easy. There's a reason why it's quick and easy. Those are things that you want to do occasionally, but not every day. So avoid processed food, really cut back on sugar, start looking at how much sugar that you're intaking every day. I have a fun fact about that. The average American eats over 130 pounds of sugar in a year. What? That's like a full human. That's disgusting. Yes, 130 pounds of sugar every year. So what I want to encourage you, if you want to start anywhere, here's what I encourage you to do. Do a 21-day sugar detox and drink half your body weight in ounces a day for 21 days, okay? So half your body weight in ounces of water a day. That does not include coffee. That does not include tea. That does not include soda. That does not include lemonade. I'm talking straight water, measure it out with some type of measuring device on how many ounces you need to do. Start in the morning and finish by 4 so that you're not waking up in the middle of the night to pee, okay? So do that and really limit your sugar 21 days and then message me and tell me how you feel. It's not rocket science. This is stuff that a lot of people talk about, but that will really also help your body for your hormones to function better because it's not having to work through all the junk and your body's not dehydrated. Okay, the next thing I want you to think about is you want to avoid processed food, sugar, foods grown with chemicals. So when you can, choose organic, produce especially. Maybe you grow a garden in your backyard to save some money throughout the summer. Maybe you start canning that produce so that in the winter you have good organic canned vegetables to eat. You can make it work for whatever budget that you're on. Look at your body products with parabens. One thing that I love is the app Think Dirty. You can download it onto your phone. My girls did this and they learned a ton when we went to Target. They started scanning all these products that were marketed towards kids and they all scanned for endocrine disruptors. So the Environmental Working Group says there is no end to the tricks that endocrine disruptors can play on our bodies. Increasing production of certain hormones, decreasing production of others, imitating hormones, turning one hormone into another, interfering with hormone signaling, telling cells to die prematurely, competing with essential nutrients, binding to essential hormones, and accumulating in organs that produce hormones. You guys, these toxins will gravitate and want to stay in our organs and want to stay in our cellulite. Toxins, like our body is smart, they hold toxins in your cellulite. And so by using our essential oils, that goes into those toxins and can help your body flush them out. That's why drinking so much water is so important. So up that water, okay? So these are the top 3 changes for hormone health. And they're not that hard. It just takes being focused on it. All right, let's talk about core supplement support. The first one is fish oil is huge. Fish oil is so important because you want to get that healthy fat that's going to help your brain. It's going to help feed your brain. It's going to help feed your adrenals. You need that healthy cholesterol. There is healthy cholesterol. There's bad cholesterol and there's healthy cholesterol. Healthy fats are needed for healthy cholesterol and for daily repair. We have Omega Gies from Young Living that we love, and it's so easy to take. And yeah, so that's just a really good one to focus on. The next one is Ningxia Red. So that's one that we take every single day. It is one that is full of antioxidants. It has the highest ORAC score. So it is amazing for cellular repair. This is one that is good for overall body support. PD8020. So this one is for DHEA. So really great for women going through menopause, and postmenopausal is PD8020. So that's one that maybe you don't have to take every day, but maybe you take that one every couple of days just to help to support your body. Multigreens, we talked about this, full of dark greens and iodine. Iodine feeds your thyroid. Something that can take away from iodine absorption is fluoride. So with our toothpaste, we use fluoride-free toothpaste, and we also have a Berkey filter to help pull fluoride from our drinking water. Especially if you are dealing with thyroid issues, you want to research that yourself and see how that can affect your thyroid. The next one's Super B. So Super B is huge it's a huge player for me. Very important for energy. It contains natural folate, which helps your body to absorb it. And then the final one is Thyromin. So this is overall support for your body. So Thyromin is capsules that you just take and swallow, and it's has our essential oils in it and also nutrients. So it's a supplement that feeds your thyroid. All right. Oh, and I wanted to say also one really fun fact with multigreens, clinical studies had shown that when essential oils were added to a supplement, the blood absorption rate went up from 42% without essential oils to 64% in just 30 minutes, and then 86% absorption rate in an hour. So that is really something that makes Young Living stand out, very strongly from other supplements that you take. It's because it has our essential oils in it. And multigreens has Melissa essential oil in it, which is an amazing powerhouse and overall healer for your body. So we love multigreens. All right, let's dive into women's hormones. Okay, so women's hormones. So for women, we have a number of amazing supplements. And what I want to encourage you guys, when you look at this and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to have all of these. You don't have to have all of these to start with, okay? You look at them and then you look it up in your desk reference, you look it up in your pocket reference, you do some research on your own, and then you start with one order. That's what I did. I started with one order of a few different things, and I used them. And I noticed how I felt. And then I cashed in my Essential Rewards points, and I got some more Dragon Time, and I got some Progestins Plus, right? So make it a step-by-step for you. Write out your goals, your goal order, and then slowly build your arsenal of products. So we know, Thyromin is a supplement. We talked about that just a minute ago. Endogies is a supplement. That one is in stock sometimes and not in stock others. When it's in stock, I highly encourage you to get it because it just floods your body with nutrients for your endocrine system. Endoflex is one that we will never be without. This is when I have a roller ball on mine. So we just roll this over our thyroid and over our adrenals. I do it twice a day. I will do it with my girls once to twice a day, depending on if they need it. I especially will do this the week of my cycle, the week before my cycle starts, and then the week of my cycle, I'll also take it in a vegetable capsule. So I have a couple different bottles in my house, but this is the one in the kitchen. And having this Aroma Glide Fitment, it's one of these stainless steel rollers makes it so easy just to roll on. The next one's Lady Sclerol. This is a blend with clary sage in it. Really wonderful for helping with women's hormones. If this is your foot, our hormonal spots are on the inside of our ankles. And so if you're wondering where to put it, I would put it on your stomach and on the inside of your ankles and just give it a massage. Dragon Thyme, same thing. So this is another blend. And again, I just encourage you to look it up. It's another blend that's really helpful for just before your cycle, when you're just feeling really moody and off, and during your cycle. And then Progessence Plus, which you guys, I cannot tell you enough about. It is such an amazing blend that has so many benefits. Really great for, when we're having a lot of cramping issues, irregular cycles, hot and cold flashes. I really encourage you to look that one up. And then again, PD8020, which I talked about just a minute ago. So these are kind of mainstays for women's hormones. Okay, and I jumped the gun a little bit with the endocrine disruptors that I talked about a minute ago, but just know that these are, that the Think Dirty app is a really great app, and the Environmental Working Group has a lot of things that you can be aware of, because when we're dealing with hormones, we want to take away toxins in our home and toxins that we're putting on our body. So not only do we want to, have our essential oils and our supplements, but we want to make it easier on our body to heal by switching out the toxic cleaners that we used to have, toxic makeup, toxic lotions, all these things that we put all over our body. We want to start cleaning that up so that our body can heal faster. And it will heal a lot faster if you start doing that. And the awesome thing is that Young Living is a lifestyle company. So you can switch what you're purchasing at Walmart and Target and Amazon for things at Young Living that are 100% pure and 100% really actually good for your body. So it's just like an easy button for me. So I appreciate that. Okay, I wanted to throw this in here. ImmuPro. You guys, if you or your tween or your kid deals with not being able to sleep well, ImmuPro is such a great supplement. So for littles like 3, 4, or 5, you can cut one into a fourth with a knife. You can do that with like 10 of them and just have a whole bag ready for the kids. It just helps them to sleep well while also boosting their immune system, okay? And it has all these wonderful minerals in them. So many people don't even need a full one. Even many adults don't need a full one. I can get a good night's rest on a half of one. And for my girls that are teen and tween, I will do a half of one for them as well. A fourth would be fine too, but they do really well with a half, and I know that it's helping their body. So ImmuPro is one to remember if you're struggling with not being able to sleep well, or if your kiddo's not sleeping well, because we know that sleep helps your body to heal, which then helps your hormones to work better. Okay, let's dive into a little bit of the men's hormones and talk about how to help our guys. So a few ones that are really important is Mister. This is a blend. It helps to decongest the prostate and to promote greater male hormone balance. So what does decongest the prostate mean? So you guys, the prostate cancer is one that is becoming rampant. And I want you to know that there are supplements like Mister and Prostate Health that help to clean the prostate. So toxins accumulate in men's prostate area, and that's where some cancers can form. And so when we want to, if that's in your family, or if your doctor is kind of watching that, maybe your husband's having some enlarged prostate, those are signs that there might be some congestion, and that's why it says decongest the prostate. So applying Mister and taking the prostate soft gels. I buy Prostate Health for Phil. And so that is really good to know. The next one is Idaho Blue Spruce. I get questions about this a lot. This one comes in and out of stock, and I always post whenever it is back in stock, because this is a really great one to help with balancing testosterone. We do have Idaho Blue Spruce in a number of blends and in a number of supplements, so you can absolutely get it in you that way. But that's a really great one to have on hand. And then There's a book called Improving Male Sexuality, Fertility, and Testosterone by Dr. Purser for more info on men's hormones. And then Endogize, you guys remember, Endogize is good for men and women. Endogize is one that helps to balance the endocrine system and feed those those adrenal glands. And then Ningxia Nitro, Phil loves Ningxia Nitro, and he loves Zing. And of course, we do Ningxia Red every day, but those nitros are those little bitty packs that are the B vitamins, and they're like a little, you just like suck it up really, really quick. So those are great for people on the run or people actually exercising long runs, but just really good B vitamins. So those are some ideas for men's hormones. Okay, so I wanted to throw this in here because we're talking about, hormone health, teens, tweens. This next slide is going to be about girls, preteen and teen. So many teens use antiperspirant, and I want to talk about that for just a second. So sweating is the way that our body detoxifies itself. So when we sweat, that your sweat glands and your lymph nodes are wanting to push out toxins. This is where your body pushes out the toxins. When we use antiperspirant that has metals in it that literally block those toxins from coming, where do all those toxins accumulate? They accumulate in the lymph nodes and in the breast tissue, okay? And we don't want that. We don't want that. So most commercial deodorants trap chemicals in your armpits and your lymph nodes. So this armpit detox, you could do a screenshot real quick or just write it down. If you have a teen or tween, or you're just noticing that your husband or you are just starting to be stinky all of a sudden, your body is processing stuff out of it, okay? It's okay. That's how we're made to be. So one way to help it, to encourage it to go faster out, is to mix this up. 1 tablespoon of bentonite clay. You can buy it on Amazon, just plain bentonite clay. I also use that for my face. It's good to pull toxins out. So a tablespoon of that, a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, okay? Teaspoon of that, 1 to 2 teaspoons of distilled water. It's good to have distilled because it doesn't have anything in it that you don't want. And then you just mix it and you apply it to your pits. Apply it to your pits. You're just gonna walk around the house with your hands on your hips for about 5 to 20 minutes. And you're just gonna walk around and it's gonna dry and it's gonna feel really awkward, but you know what? It's gonna pull all that out. And then you just hop in the shower, okay? Just hop in the shower. You can wipe it off with a warm washcloth, okay? And you're just gonna repeat that daily or as needed until you're stink free. And it will just take some time, but it's worth it, you guys. It's worth it to pull all that junk out of your breast area. Okay, teens and tweens, similar stuff, you guys. They need the Endoflex. They need the Juvaflex. Your liver gets congested with all of the hormones that it's trying to flush out. When your liver's congested, it can back up your skin, and that's when you start seeing the teens and tweens having blackheads and acne on their skin. It's because their liver is backed up from all their hormones, okay? And so applying the Juvaflex over their liver, which is opposite to their heart, opposite to their heart on their lower, side stomach, teaching them to do this. You can pop a roller ball on it so that they do it themselves. I'm really big on empowering the kids, teaching them how their bodies are working and applying that Juvaflex over their liver. If they don't want to go to school smelling like it, maybe they apply it right when they get home from school, and then again right before they go to bed, right? And then just tell them to do this for a few weeks and just see how it helps them. And then Mighty Vites is wonderful for kids. I feel like this is more like kind of preteen and younger. Teenagers can use full-on vitamins the majority of the time. Really, this is like 10 years and under that are really great for the Mighty Vites. So those are the vitamins. My 11-year-old still uses them and likes them a lot. They're chewable. My 13-year-old just wants to swallow it and be done. Okay, but Mighty Vites are great. Mighty Zymes are the enzymes, which I could talk for another whole hour on the importance of enzymes. Your gut is your second brain, and when your gut's not healthy, then your brain's not going to be healthy and your body's not going to be functioning well. So Young Living was smart enough to make enzymes for kids that are little bitty chewables, and they're very easy to take. Ningxia Red, overall family support for all ages. A quick 1 to 2 ounces is all that they need to support them because it's a concentrate. And then Progestins Plus once their cycle starts. So buy your teenage daughter their own Progestins Plus and put a little rollerball on the top and have them roll it. I encourage them to roll it on their forearms and over their lower stomach. Okay, and do that, and it smells so nice, you guys. Progestins Plus is like a perfume. It smells, I mean, it doesn't smell like perfume, but it smells really good is what I mean. So they can apply that as needed, okay, just as needed. So those are some helpful tips for girls and teens. Teen boys, very similar, except they don't need the Progestins Plus, okay? So Endoflex, Juvaflex, Mister is a wonderful blend that we talked about earlier, Idaho Blue Spruce, Ningxia Red, and Master Formula, which Master Formula would be great for girls as well. This is like an all-in-one packet. This is such an easy thing. It's like a no-brainer that you can literally put in front of your teenagers or take with you on the road. I buy them for Phil because it's just easy for him to have that bag to be able to throw when he travels. It just makes it really easy. Excuse me. And now we're talking about little kiddos. Little kiddos have hormones also. So Endoflex again, over their adrenals, Juvaflex over their liver. If you've got a little toddler that's just got a lot of anger for, at different times, they're processing stuff, and you can just rub it over their liver and it just helps them to process it better. And then, we have an entire KidSense line that's pre-diluted. The Genius, Tummy Jize, Sleepy Ease, Sniffle Ease, and now Seedlings. So we've got something for everybody. And of course, I would absolutely throw in Ningxia Red here because they can just, take that, or you can put it in their water and they can drink on it throughout the day. Okay, a lot of you don't know about this kit. Okay, this kit is specifically designed for all the things that we were talking about at this class. The Golden Touch kit is a kit for your home for all ages, but I really lean on it more towards like hormonal health. It has Juvaflex in it for the liver. It has Endoflex in it for your endocrine system. It has RC in it, which these bottles, they're all the 5 ml. This top picture, oh, I see what they're doing. Sorry, there's a reason why it looks like this. So you can see how when it's bought individually, it is $146 wholesale, but when you buy it in the Golden Touch kit, it's $89.75. So buying it in the kit is very worth it. It also comes with RC, which is wonderful for opening up the lungs and diffusing. It comes with Digest for the stomach when your stomach's upset. It comes with Thieves to help boost your immune system. Raven to be able to help with your lungs as well. And Melrose, which you guys, Melrose is amazing for drainage of the ears. Melrose is awesome, yes, and just kind of like rubbing on those ears and just helping that all of that gunk to clear out. It's really important. So look for that kit. Okay, really quickly, I want to talk about hormones and depression and anxiety. You guys, a lot of times they come and they're like, they can be a player together, because when our hormones are out of whack, I mean, that's what happens with postpartum depression. A woman's hormones is out of whack, and she's not taking care of herself and being taken care of well right after postpartum, and she starts to become depressed. So a few, these are really just the oils. I would definitely lean into the supplements also, but these are just the oils. Joy is wonderful for just uplifting and helping you to have a more positive atmosphere. Rutavala is really great for helping you to get good sleep. Frankincense, I would do a drop right on the top of the head and a drop under the tongue and breathing it in. Progestins Plus, again, helping with balancing hormones. Endoflex, and then Northern Lights Black Spruce is so, so good. So those are just a few that help with anxiety and depression, men and women, except for Progestins Plus. Okay, and then with acne, drinking a ton of water. Teenagers, don't necessarily drink enough water. Adding lemon to it is really wonderful. Encouraging them to, teaching them to do it themselves. Our skincare line, especially the toner, is really great for acne Our orange face wash and moisturizer is specifically for skin that tends to be more acne prone. Our beauty serum for acne prone skin, applying lavender purification on any acne. Thieves hand sanitizer actually is great for little spot treatments. Endoflex, we know we've talked about that, Progessence Plus, and then of course Juvaflex to help to support the liver, because when the liver is supported, your skin is going to glow instead of be all clogged with acne. Okay, and then finally we've got our postmenopausal and hysterectomy and post-hysterectomy. I really encourage you, if you are postmenopausal or have had a hysterectomy, to follow Dan Purser, MD, on Facebook. He also has a YouTube channel. I posted in the event for this class a video on Progessence Plus and postmenopausal women. So he's a really great one. He's the creator of Progessence Plus along with Gary Young. And so he has a ton of knowledge about that. And then we've got Fimogen, Estro, and then of course the book, Taming the Dragon Within. You guys, this was a huge help for me with kind of walking me through how to take care of myself. And then Ningxia Red. I mean, all the time, Ningxia Red. Until I die, Ningxia Red. So yes, these are really kind of good ones to lean into. All right, and then you guys, this is the time when you want to equip yourself. You want to look at all the wonderful books. Life Science Publishing is specific for Young Living, and it carries all of the books that I talked about tonight. A few of my favorites are The Desk Reference, Gentle Babies, Chemistry of Essential Oils, Healing Oils, the Bible, Taming the Dragon Within, Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils. A lot of people call it the Blue Book. This is a big one, and a lot of times we don't talk about it enough, but if you feel like you've got some just emotional baggage that you're dealing with that you cannot get rid of, there's some great videos on how to use it, but this is a great book to grab. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of supplements and a lot of oils tonight, and what I want to tell you is, if you are new to Young Living, the best way to order is through our Essential Rewards program, which is our monthly box. It's like our monthly oils box, and every month that I order, I get 25% back in a cart where I can cash it in anytime that I want for free product. So this is how you build up your oily stash. This is how you build up all the things that you need when you get sick or when somebody in your family gets sick, and you have it ready. So months 1 through 3, you get 10% back. Months 4 through 24, you get 24% back. And months 25 plus, you get 25% back. There's loyalty gifts at months 3, 6, and 9. And it's customizable every month. So every month you can have the exact same thing, or you can switch it up, okay? I always have a few things that stay the same, and then I always have a few things that I alternate that I need. So that's the best way to order, because it's you get more for your buck. So I'm going to open it up to questions. And if you have a specific question, I'd be happy to try to answer it. And if I don't know it, then I will look it up and will try to give you an answer later. So is there anybody that wants to unmute themselves and ask a question? I know we've covered a lot tonight.
Nikki, this
Yes.
is Nikki. How many months does it take to change tissue in the body? I missed that.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Nikki. I appreciate that. Okay. It's 4 months. And I had that in my notes, but sometimes I get to talking. So you want to focus on it for 4 solid months. And I hear this so often where somebody will say, well, I tried Progessence Plus for a month and it just didn't work for me. And it's like, or I tried, whatever for a month. And what you need to what you need to know and let your people know is that it takes 4 full months sometimes to really see a difference in whatever regime that you're doing. So like with my adrenal fatigue, it took me 6 full months to be able to get to a place where I was like, okay, I'm feeling a lot better and my levels were good. But if I would have stopped at 1 month or 2 months, I know that I wouldn't have been able to heal like I did.
And another thing, you may have answered this, does Endoflex have any hormones in it?
It does not. It does not. So Endoflex has no hormones in it. Neither does Dragon Time or Melrose or any of the ones that we talked about. Sclerescence does not even have hormones in it. These are all our essential oils that help to bring balance to our bodies. So I'm so glad you asked that. Anybody else? All right. Well, I so appreciate all of you for taking the time to be on this call tonight. And if you're watching this as the recording, I hope that you learned a lot, and feel free to reach out if you have questions. But I do definitely encourage you to get those resource books, open them up, take time to study them, and then it just starts with you trying it and just jump into it full force. Don't think that you have to know everything, but just start. And your body will tell you what's working. So anyway, thank you guys so much. And I wish you all health, and we will see you next time. All right. Sleep well, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yes, you're so welcome.